Hello and welcome to Midday Update. Coming up are the headlines for the day. Izdihar launched as first official advertising agency in Oman. Exhibition of Geological Heritage inaugurated at Al Dakhliya Governorate. Jindal Shadid signs $3 billion pact to produce green steel at Duqm. Stranded man in Alaska saved due to Apple's emergency SOS via satellite feature. Prime Minister Modi thanks Biden and Macron for supporting India's G20 presidency. Indian migrant workers sent home record $100 billion in 2022. Mbappe focused on World Cup dream. England forward Sterling flies back to England after news of robbery at his home. Those were the headlines. Now for the local stories for the day. Izdihar Identity was launched as the first official advertising agency in the Sultanate of Oman on Monday to provide media and advertising services at the local and global levels. The Ministry of Information is organizing the first advertising forum with the aim of strengthening partnerships between the ministry and various private sector institutions in the Sultanate of Oman by providing media and advertising services and benefiting from the ministry's services through its visual, audio and print channels and electronic platforms, Oman News Agency said in a statement. The forum included the launch of the new identity of the commercial department, Izdihar, as the first official advertising agency in Oman, aiming to provide media and advertising services at the local and global levels, keeping pace with the changes in the advertising market. An exhibition of geological heritage was inaugurated in an Al Dakhliya Governorate, which includes a number of distinctive pieces, including an 800-million-year-old fossil. The Geological Heritage Exhibition, Sustainability and Job Opportunities was inaugurated in its second edition under the patronage of His Excellency Azan bin Qasim Al-Busaidi, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism for Tourism, coinciding with the Sultanate of Oman's celebrations of the 52nd National Day, and to celebrate the diversity of the museum system that enhances heritage and tourism destinations in various governorates. This is in cooperation with Petroleum Development Oman and the Geological Society of Oman. The exhibition will continue until March 23, 2023. The opening of the exhibition is a translation of the efforts implemented by the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism to introduce the importance of the geological heritage in Oman, to preserve it and ensure its sustainability. Jindal Shadid Group has selected the Special Economic Zone at Duqm in the Sultanate of Oman to establish a green steel manufacturing facility. Slated to be the largest of its kind within the zone, the factory will also utilize renewable energy sources in its manufacturing operations. This announcement was made at the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding and a land allocation agreement. The event was held under the auspices of Dr. Ali bin Masood Al-Sunaidi, Chairman of the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones, in the presence of a number of high-ranking government and private sector officials, as well as prominent local and international media. The Special Economic Zone at Duqm is the largest economic zone in the region, with an area of 2,000 square kilometers. This strategic project is built over an area estimated at approximately 2 square kilometers in the concession zone at the port of Duqm, with an investment value estimated at $3 billion. The MOU was signed by Engineer Ahmed bin Hassan Al-Deeb, Deputy Chairman of the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones, and Harsha Shetty, CEO of Jindal Shadid Group. The land reservation agreement was signed by the Jindal Shadid Group and Reggie Vermillion, Chief Executive Officer of Port of Duqm. In line with the development efforts, Jindal Shadid Group also signed an MOU with the centralized utility provider Marafiq to provide the plant with the utilities necessary to operate the projects such as water services, seawater for cooling purposes and other Marafiq services. The agreement was signed by Talal Al-Lawati, Vice President of Commercial Operations, Marafiq. Commenting on the series of agreements, Engineer Ahmed bin Hassan Al-Deeb expressed his delight in partnering with steel production expert Jindal Shadid Group to develop its manufacturing facility. He reaffirmed that a project of this caliber would be an added value to the heavy industries cluster in the Special Economic Zone at Duqm and would play a vital role in the development of Duqm as a key industrial hub. Those are the local stories. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with international news. Stay tuned.
We play You listen.
You talk, we listen.
You got something to say? We want to hear it.
95.4 in Muscat.
And 91 in Salalah.
Music, news, views, and everything in between.
TFM.
TFM.
Let's talk.
Oman's largest online supermarket now has no minimum order limit. From grocery to household items, Rafiq has everything that you want. Enjoy worry-free shopping with over 8,000 products to choose from and get it delivered straight to your doorstep. Rafiq, you order, we deliver.
Welcome back to Midday Update. Now for the international stories. American tech giant Apple's emergency SOS via satellite feature for iPhone 14 lineup, which was recently activated by the company in the US and Canada, has already helped in saving a stranded man in Emu Point, Alaska. According to GSM Arena, a tech-related news website, a report dispatch was issued by the Alaska Department of Public Safety, and it confirms that Alaska state troopers rescued a stranded snowmobiler. The rescue operation happened on December 1 and 2 a.m. local time after the person activated the emergency SOS function on his iPhone. The report clarified that the Apple Emergency Response Center reached out to the Northwest Arctic Bureau's Search and Rescue Department with the exact GPS coordinates of the stranded man, reported GSM Arena. A team of 4 volunteers was then dispatched and tracked him down. As per GSM Arena, Apple's emergency SOS feature is currently live in the US and Canada for Apple users and is expected to span across France, Germany, Ireland and the UK later this month. Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanked his US, France and Japanese counterpart for extending their support to India as New Delhi assumed the G20 presidency on December 1st. He also said that India-US together will advance sustainable and inclusive growth while tackling shared challenges like the climate, energy and food crisis. Meanwhile, on Sunday, the G20 Sherpa meeting commenced with a panel discussion on accelerating the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. Formal Sherpa discussions will be spread over 5 sessions and will be held on December 5th to 6th. During a panel discussion at Udaipur, G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant said that India believes every crisis is an opportunity. He further stated that when there is a surge in inflation and a slowdown of global growth, India is not only taking the G20 presidency but also rolling out its own agenda. In an off-the-record media interaction, Kant further highlighted how India played a significant role in Bali as a balancing act in the Communique and focused on economic issues, not geopolitics. A World Bank report published last week revealed that remittance flows to India from its migrant workers are on track to gain 12% to reach a record $100 billion for the year. Remittance growth in 2021 from a year earlier was 7.5%. That puts its inflows far ahead of Mexico, which is at $60 billion, China $51 billion, the Philippines $38 billion, Egypt $32 billion and Pakistan $29 billion, positioning the country to retain its spot as the world's top recipient of remittances. Such foreign remittances make up almost 3% of India's GDP. At a regional level, remittances to South Asia grew an estimated 3.5% to $163 billion in 2022. However, there is large disparity across countries. While remittances to India is projected to increase 12%, Nepal's will only grow 4% and the remaining countries, including Sri Lanka, Pakistan and Bangladesh, is expected to see an aggregate decline of about 10%. The easing of flows reflects the discontinuation of special incentives some governments had introduced to attract flow during the pandemic, as well as preferences for informal channels offering better exchange rates. 2022 also marks the year several short-term and longer-term trends that were obscured by the pandemic were catalytic in stimulating remittance flows to India. On a global level, the rise of global remittance flows is predicted to be 4.9% in 2022. Remittance flows to developing regions were shaped by several factors in 2022. Besides the determination of migrants to help their families back home, a gradual reopening of various sectors in host countries' economies expanded many migrant income and employment situation. On the other hand, rising prices adversely affected migrants' real incomes and remittances. Growth in remittances is expected to moderate to 2% in 2023 as GDP growth in high-income countries continues to slow. Downside risk remains substantial, including a further deterioration of the war in Ukraine, volatile oil prices and currency exchange rates, and a deeper-than-expected downturn in major high-income countries. For South Asia, remittance flow is predicted to slow to 0.7%. Remittance cost remains high during second quarter of 2022 at twice the Sustainable Development Goal target of 3%. According to the World Bank's remittance prices worldwide database, the global average cost of sending $200 was 6% in the second quarter of 2022, not very different from a year previous. Among developing country regions, the cost was lowest in South Asia at about 4.1%, while Sub-Saharan African continued to have the highest average cost, about 7.8%. Migrant workers play an important role in the economy of their host country, and this is something that the World Bank feels is important and that host countries should have policies to help them. Those were the international stories. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with sports news. Stay tuned.
We play, you listen.
You talk, we listen.
You got something to say? We want to hear it.
95.4 in Muscat.
And 91 in Salalah.
Music, news, views, and everything in between.
TFM.
TFM.
Let's talk.
Oman's largest online supermarket now has no minimum order limit. From grocery to household items, Rafiq has everything that you want. Enjoy worry-free shopping with over 8,000 products to choose from and get it delivered straight to your doorstep. Rafiq, you order, we deliver.
Welcome back to Midday Update. Now for the sports news. France forward Kylian Mbappe said he is focused on his dream of a second consecutive World Cup title after firing the defending champions into the quarterfinals in Qatar on Sunday. Mbappe scored 2 goals and provided an assist as France beat Poland 3-1 to set up a clash against either England or Senegal in the last 8. The 23-year-old has already scored 5 times this tournament, taking his overall World Cup tally to 9 goals. "I'm not thinking about the golden ball or golden boot," the PSG forward said. "The only objective for me is to win the World Cup. Right now, the quarterfinal is the most important thing. It's the only thing I dream about. I came here to win the World Cup and help the national team, not anything else." Mbappe also explained by media during the tournament until Sunday. "I have nothing personal against journalists. I've just needed to focus on football and the tournament. When I want to concentrate on something, that's the way I function. I learned that the French Football Association would get fined, and I said I would pay it because I don't think they should pay on my behalf," he said. The former Monaco player added, "I wanted to be ready for the tournament, and so far things are going well. But we are still a long way from our objective, and now we have to focus on the quarterfinal. We are delighted to get through to the quarterfinals. It was a difficult game. We played a tough side and managed to score goals at important times during the match. Even though we didn't play as well as we could have, we won and we are delighted." That's what he said. England forward Raheem Sterling missed England's 3-0 win over Senegal on Sunday night after travelling back to England. The forward left the England camp after being informed that armed robbers had broken into his home while his family was there. When asked about whether Sterling would be back for the quarter-final against France or a possible semi-final, England coach Gareth Southgate said he wasn't sure. "We've got to wait and see. At the moment, clearly the priority is for him to be with his family. We're going to support that and leave him to have as much time as he needs. He's going home. It's a situation that he needs time with his family to deal with, and I don't want to push him under any pressure with that. Sometimes football isn't the most important thing and family should come first," said Southgate. Those were all the local, international and sports stories for the day. For more updates, stay tuned and keep watching TTV.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.